All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving deep into a piece of writing that sold over 40 million copies.
40 million.
Yep, you heard that right. But here's the kicker. It's not some epic novel or a Harry Potter book. We're talking about an essay from 1899.
An essay. Wow, that's incredible.
It's called A Message to Garcia,
Yeah.
and it's all about initiative, getting things done, the can-do spirit.
And it's still relevant over a century later. There's got to be something special about it.
Absolutely. And that's what we're going to uncover today with the help of our expert, who knows a thing or two about this.
Well, I'm excited to dig into this. To really grasp its impact, we need to rewind a bit back to the Spanish-American War. Picture President McKinley. He's got this urgent need to contact Garcia, a Cuban rebel leader hiding in the mountains.
Oh, I see where this is going, like a real-life spy mission.
Exactly, but way more challenging. No phones, internet, not even a reliable postal service. Think about that.
Sounds like Mission Impossible. So how do they even attempt to communicate?
That's where Andrew Rowan comes in, an Army lieutenant who volunteered for this wild goose chase.
Wow, a volunteer. That takes guts.
He landed on the coast of Cuba at night, no GPS, no fancy gadgets, just a message and a whole lot of courage. Then, poof, vanished into the jungle for 3 weeks.
Talk about a leap of faith. But hold on, is just blindly following orders really what makes this story so powerful?
That's the thing, it's not about blind obedience. Hubbard, the author, focuses on Rowan's initiative. He didn't waste time second-guessing or demanding a detailed roadmap.
So it's more about that resourcefulness, that problem-solving mindset?
Right on. He took the message, figured it out, dealt with hostile territory, obstacles galore, and delivered. Talk about getting things done.
And I bet that resonated with people back then, especially with all the changes happening in the world.
Big time. It was a time of massive shifts, industrialization booming, big organizations popping up everywhere.
So Rowan's actions, they were like a blueprint for this new era.
Exactly. People who could navigate the chaos, think for themselves, take charge, they are becoming essential. And Hubbard saw that.
It's mind-blowing how a story from so long ago can still be relevant today. We're drowning in information and instant communication. You'd think we wouldn't need that individual problem-solving anymore.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It's even more crucial now. Hubbard gives some pretty interesting, even funny examples to illustrate this.
Oh, I love a good story. Give us an example.
All right, picture this. He asks a clerk, "Can you look up Correggio in the encyclopedia?" Sounds simple enough, right?
Totally, like a basic task.
But instead of just doing it, the clerk starts bombarding him with questions. Who was he? Which encyclopedia? Was I even hired for this?
Yeah.
It's hilarious, but also frustrating,
Ugh, I know that feeling, that just do the thing.
Yeah.
Frustration. And it stinks for both sides, the one asking and the one being asked.
Precisely. And Hubbard understood both sides. He had another analogy about a bookkeeper sent on an errand who ends up in saloons instead of getting the job done.
Okay, maybe a bit extreme, but I get the point. Unreliability. But was he putting all the blame on employees?
It's not that simple. He recognized that not all employers are saints. Some exploit their workers.
So it's about recognizing the complexity of that relationship, the employee and the employer, not just pointing fingers.
Right. It's a bigger point about needing people you can trust, people who'll take that message to Garcia, no matter the job, no matter the circumstances.
It's about ownership, responsibility, that deeper level of commitment.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll explore that more deeply next time, how that message to Garcia principle plays out in today's world.
Sounds good to me. I'm hooked. It's pretty remarkable how A Message to Garcia still has so much to say, even after all these years.
Yeah, it really speaks to something universal.
Do you think Hubbard knew back then how impactful his essay would be?
It's tough to say, but he definitely tapped into something bigger than just individual actions. He connected it to a larger societal issue.
That's what gives it that lasting power.
Right. He saw the Garcia mentality as vital for this evolving world.
Can you elaborate on that a bit? What was this bigger picture he was painting?
Well, he was writing at a time of huge transition, industrialization, these massive organizations emerging, new complexities everywhere.
A whole different world. More bureaucracy, specialized roles, layers of management. It must have felt like a whirlwind.
It was. And in that kind of environment, people who could think on their feet, take initiative, and just get things done, they were gold.
Makes sense. They were the ones who could cut through the noise and actually make progress.
Exactly. They were the problem solvers, the ones who didn't need constant hand-holding. Hubbard even brings up a concept you might not expect, given the essay's focus on individual initiative.
I'm intrigued. What is it?
Socialism.
Socialism. That's interesting. How does that fit in with personal initiative?
Hubbard believed that for socialism to truly work, people couldn't just rely on collective action.
So it's not just a case of everyone working together.
Right. He felt there needed to be a strong sense of personal responsibility, self-motivation, that drive to contribute meaningfully.
Even within a system that emphasizes the collective good.
Precisely. It's like if you can't even trust someone to take a message to Garcia without hovering over them, how can you build a society on shared responsibility?
It really flips the script on how we usually view socialism.
Yeah.
It's not just about the collective, but also the individual's role within it.
That's the brilliance of his argument. He takes the Garcia mentality beyond the workplace. It becomes a universal trait for progress.
No matter your political views or economic system.
Exactly. It applies to everyone. It makes you think, are we actively contributing or just waiting for instructions?
It's a question we should all ask ourselves.
Now, we focus a lot on employees, but what about the flip side? What about the employers?
Oh, good point. Did Hubbard have anything to say about leadership styles? Like, are there ways to nurture or hinder that Garcia spirit?
He did touch on that. He suggests that not all employers are created equal. Some are better at recognizing and nurturing initiative.
While others might unintentionally stifle it?
Yeah, some create environments that encourage creativity and independent thinking. Others, not so much.
So it's not just about finding those Rowans. It's about creating a space where they can thrive.
That's it. Leaders who inspire trust, set clear goals, encourage problem solving, they're the ones who cultivate that message to Garcia mentality in their teams.
It's about fostering that culture of ownership and accountability.
Absolutely. After all this discussion, what really resonates with you about a message to Garcia?
Honestly, it's the timelessness. It was written over a century ago, yet those core themes, initiative, self-reliance, personal responsibility, they're more relevant than ever.
I couldn't agree more. In this world of constant change and complexity, those qualities are invaluable.
A message to Garcia almost feels like a call to action, to cultivate those qualities within ourselves,
To be the Rowans of our own lives.
to take action, solve problems, make a real difference.
And that kind of impact, that's a legacy worth striving for.
You know, it's amazing how Hubbard doesn't give us a specific formula. It's more of a guiding principle.
And that's part of its power. It challenges us to figure out how to apply it to our own lives, our careers, our relationships.
To ask ourselves, how can we become more like Rowan? Not literally, but by embodying those qualities of resourcefulness and determination.
And in doing so, we not only empower ourselves, but we also contribute to a more proactive, solution-oriented world.
Well said. I think this is the perfect moment to transition into our final thoughts on a message to Garcia.
How can we take this powerful idea and make it our own? How do we carry our own message in today's world?
You know, as we've been talking about a message to Garcia, it keeps hitting me that it's not just about work, is it?
No, not at all.
It's bigger, like a way of life, you know?
Yeah, it's about taking ownership, taking initiative wherever you want to see progress.
In your career, your relationships, even just getting through the day, right?
Absolutely. It's stepping up, asking questions, figuring out what you need, finding a way forward.
Even when you're not sure what the next step is. So we can all be Rowans in our own lives, in a way.
Exactly. And that's where the real growth happens, stepping outside that comfort zone. You build resilience, you become a problem solver, you learn to rely on yourself.
Start trusting yourself more.
Yes. You depend less on others to tell you what to do or to validate you.
It's a pretty powerful shift. And it lets you go after those big goals, those dreams.
With passion and determination. And when you hit a roadblock, you know you can handle it.
Find a way.
You do. It's not just wishing, it's making it happen.
That's inspiring. And what's so powerful about a message to Garcia is that it reminds us we all have that potential
That inner drive, that resourcefulness.
to make a difference in our own lives and for others.
And that ripple effect, that's a real legacy.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what are some things you hope our listeners will take away from this?
Well, I hope they remember that we can all be Rowans.
We can all rise to the occasion.
Embrace the challenges, take the initiative, be creative. And by doing that, not only do we achieve our goals, but we inspire those around us.
We become part of something bigger. Beautifully put. And on that note, we encourage you, our listener, to keep a message to Garcia in mind. Ask yourself, how can I be more proactive today?
How can I really own my goals, my challenges?
How can I become the kind of person who can be trusted to carry that message no matter what?
Because those are the questions that lead to real growth, to meaningful change.
Until next time, fellow knowledge seekers, keep exploring, Keep asking those questions and keep diving deep.